Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
There he is, our guy Darren Doogie Wolfson from the 5 Eyewitness News Sports Department. Here with some information and some speculation about the Minnesota Vikings on Purple Daily. We will get into what Kevin O'Connell said about JJ McCarthy's status here momentarily, and how many other key Vikings players are likely to return ASAP, and other topics too. But Doogs, you've been losing some weight the last few weeks, huh?
I absolutely have, Phil, yes. And to answer your question, we'll get into it a little bit more. But yes, the Vikings are going to get some players back for that Eagles game on October 19th. Yes, Phil, down 15 pounds starting week 5 on Awaken 180 Weight Losses program. Awaken 180 Weight Loss. The website is awaken180weightloss.com. It feels good to get compliments. It feels good to have sustained energy. Through Doogie, my older son, some batting practice the other day. We'll throw and hit until the snow comes, right? Fall baseball season just ended. Still wants to get work in. Well, hey, I may need Tommy John surgery at some point. That's a different topic. But having sustained energy to throw him 75, 80 pitches, have a little bit of zip on those pitches. Don't need to mention that I throw from about 35 or 40 feet, not from 60 feet, but still letting him get his work in. I have more energy than I've had in a long time, thanks to Awaken 180 Weight Loss. You eat to lose weight. It's a simple plan, but it works. There's no medication necessary. Exercise is not necessary. There's no calorie counting. They educate you on how to eat, when to eat, what to eat, the why behind what you're eating. Part of their program is 80% of what you need to consume on a daily basis is there for you. I love their protein shakes, chocolate flavored, vanilla flavored, coffee flavored. Very easy program to follow. Heck, me, high maintenance, stubborn me, if I can pull this off, you can too. The website, awaken180weightloss.com. Schedule your free consultation. It doesn't hurt. Just gain a little bit more knowledge, but I'm telling you, it absolutely works. Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Again, the website is awaken180weightloss.com.
Dukes, Kevin O'Connell said that JJ McCarthy, he didn't practice in London. The fields were it was a little wet, and the fields were kind of crammed, and they just said, let's just get back to the States. So he got some work in on Monday, according to Kevin O'Connell, and he'll get some work in the rest of the week. We pick it up as a team officially next week, but I'm encouraged about where he's at right now. He's had some real moments of growth through this time. Watching the way Carson's kind of gone through progressions quickly, just the value of putting the ball in play, even when it's not your first progression, is something that Kevin noted as a mental note for JJ McCarthy. So what are your thoughts? What are you hearing about JJ McCarthy going into this bye week and when he might be the starting quarterback again?
Well, certainly concerned that regardless of the field conditions there in suburban London, that he wasn't able to do anything, at least be limited Thursday and Friday. And I get it, Friday is not an extensive practice, but I thought he'd be able to do some stuff regardless of the field condition late last week. That did not happen. Sure, this bye week, newborn, he's not going anywhere. He'll be over at TCO Performance Center doing plenty of work. I need to acquire a bit more knowledge, Phil. Like, what is he able to do 1 week from tomorrow when things ramp up? Eagles prep week. Yeah. Not next Monday. Okay, they'll reconvene next Monday, but I'm talking about 1 week from tomorrow. But the fact he hasn't done anything yet, I guess I'm thinking at this point, and I said this on TV on Sunday, I wouldn't be shocked if Carson Wentz is the quarterback against the Eagles. Now, I do think the original plan was post-injury, hey, let's target October 19th, right after the bye, that made sense. But the fact that he hasn't done a thing, that he needs to be able to move, not just run. Yes, running is a part of what he can do, his skill set, but just being able to throw on the run, just move his body enough.
Yeah.
I thought he'd be able to do some stuff in a limited fashion by now, and the fact he hasn't, I'm enough concerned that we may not see JJ until November.
Now, Dukes, I did get the impression, though, from what O'Connell said on Monday at the podium that this is tracking to go back to being his job. Like I don't get the impression that Carson Wentz
100%.
overwhelmed everybody with such a great play. He was sufficient, but he wasn't great. But that's the interesting thing here too, is like, so if they decide that McCarthy isn't set to play against Philadelphia, could it be the Chargers? Absolutely. But I don't think that we're in for a discussion about who is the quarterback. I think it's McCarthy. But O'Connell does have, and I'll give him credit, he does have the ability, the viability, the leeway to say what you just said, which is we're not going to play him until we can protect him and he can protect himself. So like that's where this gets to be, to me, a very interesting discussion. But I don't think we have a controversy here. I don't think we have a benching here. I think we legitimately have a when can he get back in and succeed conversation.
Absolutely. JJ is going to play again and relatively soon. The question is when? Is it October 19th? Is it the short week, October 23rd? In LA against the Chargers, or is it early November? But yes, we are going to see JJ McCarthy. I've yet to hear, because I've heard this theory tossed out, that what about the locker room? Like, if you don't keep rolling with Carson Wentz, are you going to lose the locker room? I have yet to hear that. We've brought that up. I've yet to hear anything along those lines. Yeah, I firmly believe we are going to see JJ McCarthy again, but he has to prove that he can move. And the fact he hasn't done that yet, that's why I have cause for concern heading into October 19th with admitting, hey, there's a little ways to go. Let me acquire a bit more info. I'm not quite sure the Vikings know right this second who's starting for them October 19th. So how the heck am I supposed to know? But hey, I will also give Wentz credit, though. Like that drive on Sunday to finish 9 for 9. I mean, he came into the game banged up. That's another thing to mention. Like, he took a beating against the Steelers, took enough of a beating against the Browns. Yeah, he has a week to get better, but how exactly is Carson Wentz feeling this time next week? But I thought he was brilliant on last drive. And hey, like, yeah, he hasn't been great. Like, I don't know what sort of letter grade I would apply to him. C+, maybe B-. Maybe C you could sell me on. I don't think it's below that, but I don't think it's much higher than that. But yeah, we're going to see McCarthy again. Just a matter of he has to prove that he's able to move. And so let's see this thing play out a little bit. I know that's not the answer that a lot of people want to hear, but I don't think the Vikings know right now who's starting for them on the 19th.
Yeah, Dukes, maybe I'm oversimplifying this, but Carson's done a good job as a backup coming in. But we went over on our State of the Vikings episode. Every week we give you in 4 key quarterback categories. When you take those up as an aggregate, where does Carson Wentz and previously JJ McCarthy rank? So passer rating, QBR, expected points added, completion percentage over expected, and PFF grade. So a little scouting, little analytics, little sort of traditional passer rating. And Carson Wentz, when you average his 3 games in those 4 categories, is of 38 qualified quarterbacks so far, he's been the 21st ranked starter. So he's been a good, you say like a C, C+, whatever. Yeah, but and that's good, and it's kept the Vikings afloat, and that game-winning drive was awesome. JJ McCarthy also had some game-winning stuff against Chicago in week 1, so they both done that. But I don't think performing as the 21st best quarterback in the league is grounds to just keep your job, even if he was like the 5th best quarterback in the league, and oh my God, there's a revelation happening here. It's a debate. But to this point, he's been good and sturdy and the 21st ranked quarterback in some key categories. All right, cool. We can put that back on the shelf the minute that JJ is ready to use all of his tools, I think.
And I still circle back to March and April, all the Aaron Rodgers talk, because we brought this up in this space, a couple weeks ago. If we had to rank, okay, Rodgers, Wentz, McCarthy, of those 3, who gives them the best chance to win immediately? Okay, yes, it's Aaron Rodgers. I think we can all agree on that, but there was a reason why the Vikings never pursued that, okay? And it's because they want to see what they have in McCarthy. I don't know if they can come out and outwardly say that, but they want to see, yes, they think they can make a run in January, finally win a playoff game or multiple playoff games under KOC, have a very successful season. But there's also something to be said about gaining all the knowledge you need to gain this year about JJ McCarthy and what the future holds, thinking about 2026, 2027. So, yes, I have no doubt in my mind, even if Carson Wentz plays well, let's say he does play against the Eagles and he plays well, that we are going to see JJ McCarthy back soon enough.
So let's go to the guys that are protecting whoever plays quarterback on the 19th against Philadelphia. All right, Brian O'Neill has an MCL. That's not good. Donovan Jackson has a wrist that I believe is on the road to recovery. Ryan Kelly has sort of he got placed on IR very quietly on Saturday and has not been heard about or from since. And then Christian Darrisaw was taken out of the game because he had reached a snap count, supposedly. Jeremiah Searles joined us on PD yesterday, Dukes, though, and had a very good point. He said, if that was going to be the case, you would have held him out at different points. You wouldn't have gotten to this crunch time, nut cutting time and said, hey, Justin School, why don't you go play left tackle? One, how concerned do you think that we should be potentially about that with Darrisaw? And two, who do you see back by the 19th when the bye week is over?
I think this week will help Darrisaw a lot. I don't imagine on the 19th that he's on any sort of snap count. Agree. And if it's about ramping up, then just have him sit out the first quarter, play quarters 2 through 4. That didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I get it, easy second guess, but I didn't quite understand that. Donovan Jackson back. That was strategic. The surgery when it took place out in Southern California, knowing he would have the extra week with the bye, back October 19th. Brian O'Neill, Ryan Kelly, yeah, I don't foresee them playing anytime real soon. Well, certainly Kelly, minimum missing a few more games placed on IR, so at least 3 more. And hey, I'll continue to say, I guess I'll be surprised if we get to see the original starting 5 offensive line at any point this year. What is it now? 13 different offensive line combinations through 5 games, but I'm not quite sure all year we will ever see Darrisaw into Jackson, into Kelly, into Fries, into O'Neill. It's unfortunate, but at this point, with Ryan Kelly's concussion history, O'Neill, yeah, I don't think this is any sort of season-ending injury, but on Ryan Kelly, I don't know at this point how he keeps pushing forward at 32 years old with that concussion history. And so that's where I pause. Plus, who knows if another injury happens? God forbid, Will Fries, or you name the next culprit, right? Maybe it's something else with Donovan Jackson. I don't think we'll see the original starting 5 at any point this year.
Yeah, Blake Brandel made his first ever start at center. So let's say Ryan Kelly, he's on IR. It's been crickets. My guess is they're all just having really big picture conversations about his life and everything. So it's football is a month away minimum and maybe never again. So they've got to figure out what is their center situation. And Michael Juergens might be back and available, but it's funny because PFF gave Blake Brandel a 41 grade out of 100. Just they didn't like it. But then we talked to Jeremiah Searles yesterday, who watched the film and said, considering he's never done this before, they only had one kind of botched snap, and he did a great job communicating everything. So JFF, Jeremiah Football Focus, said it's a passing. Screw the 41. It was a passing grade. I would start him again.
I'm with JFF
in a week. Yeah.
Well, Juergens might be okay though. I would say, Juergens is tracking the practice. I wouldn't be shocked if Juergens, I get a tricky injury, hamstring, but I wouldn't be shocked if Juergens is okay heading into that Eagles game.
I'd still start Brandel. I think, and Jeremiah laid this out way better than, because these guys who play in the league actually know what the communication is like at the line of scrimmage. He said of the 5 offensive line positions, center is the most mental versus physical in terms of what you need at that position. Everything is physical. It's the NFL, but because you're so insulated with your guards, oftentimes on both runs and passes, you are working with a guard, double teaming someone, a defensive tackle. So you're not on an island like you are a tackle. When Justin School is out there on an island, it looks terrible because he's getting torched and it's one-on-one or whatever. So he said, if Blake Brandel has a grasp on what he's looking at, what protection to call, the communication with Wentz versus Jurgens, who's a second-year NFL player, a seventh-round pick, who's just not been an NFL player all that long. He would lean toward the mental reps of Blake Brandel versus the physical experience at center of somebody else.
Well, and considering that Eagles front, Jalen Carter and company, like Jurgens has to show me a lot a week from tomorrow, a week from Thursday, that he's okay to play on the 19th. So, yeah, you absolutely can sell me on Blake starting again on the 19th against the Eagles. How about Joe Huber? Like, I saw his PFF grade. Pretty poor. Now, maybe it's recency bias just based on that last drive. And, hey, there were some penalties and all that. But I thought Joe Huber, undrafted rookie out of Wisconsin, and I thought he should have been drafted, right? But that's okay. Like, I thought he was fine. Like, I didn't think he had a failing grade. But PFF had him as a failure on Sunday. But I thought he was better than that. And I'll tell you this much. Okay, O'Neal, let's say he can't play against the Eagles. I want Walter Rouse at right tackle, not Justin School. So I think that will be a conversation that they will have internally.
Mm-hmm. And, part of the thing, too, is when you're facing Cleveland, like, to me, they all got passing grades because you're facing Cleveland. And I think Joe did get dinged because he took a couple of penalties. But, hey, on the other side of the football, so O'Connell said that the 21-day practice window on Blake Cashman, who suffered what must have been a pretty severe hamstring injury against the Bears in week 1, that they're going to open that window starting next week. So what's the expectation there? Because, clearly Blake Cashman's a very important part of the defense. Unfortunately, Blake Cashman's ding against him career-wise has been this exactly. He's hurt quite a bit. Do we have an expectation, since it's a 21-day time period, of when he might actually get back to be playing?
I think it'll be comparable to CJ Ham. Like we had talked going back weeks. I said, hey, Ham will be good for week 5. They made the move, the night before. And, hey, CJ Ham is out there just for, 10, 11, 12 snaps on Sunday. But Ham was back. I'd heard a couple weeks ago that Cashman is expected back right after the bye, missed the minimum 4 games. So until I hear otherwise, I think Blake will be back on the 19th. Then I think about Harrison Smith. His snap count went up a bit against the Browns. So it's gradually gone up. Cincinnati into Pittsburgh, into Cleveland. I think the kiddie wheels come off on the 19th against the Eagles. Like Harrison Smith, I was led to believe should be full go, whatever that looks like, because Theo Jackson has been fine. They play 3 safeties enough, but that Harrison Smith doesn't need to be on any sort of snap count starting on the 19th.
Yeah. And then I have a question for you outside of injuries, but just to clean up any other injury things here. So we talked Cashman, Harrison Smith. Trying to think of other injured players. There's so many. They've literally had like 45% of their starters have missed huge chunks of time in the first 5 weeks. So who are some of the? So we've got a line of players that are going to be back this week probably or next week. Brian O'Neill is longer term than Philly. It sounds like. Is that accurate?
Yeah, at this point, yes. I've not been told that it's tracking toward him coming back on the 19th. Certainly not season ending, but
okay.
Yeah, until I hear otherwise. Andrew Van Ginkel with the neck certainly remains concerning. And so, hey, KOC, right, on Monday did not mention him as tracking toward returning to practice next week. So certainly concerning. Then we're thinking about Aaron Jones. He still has to miss, one more game being on IR, but I was told he's in a good spot, so he may be ready as soon as the 23rd against the Chargers. If not that game, then the game right after that. But, the short week, makes things a little dicey. But that Aaron Jones is tracking very well. Ty Chandler, that's more long-term. There's a reason why he didn't even travel to Dublin and London. Third tight end, Ben Jurasek, if I'm saying that right. Jurasek, however we're going with the pronunciation, on the Georgia tight end, the undrafted free agent. He's okay. Like, he wasn't mentioned by KOC on Monday, but I wouldn't be shocked if he's able to get out there, at least limited, maybe track to play starting on the 19th.
Okay. Before we get into some more fodder here with our guy Doogie, these glorious, beautiful Justin Jefferson souvenir cups that you can see on the YouTube channel, courtesy of Pepsi, are now available throughout the stadium, throughout Hy-Vee Fast and Fresh locations, and Buffalo Wild Wings across the Twin Cities. You can go into your local Buffalo Wild Wings and you can pour some delicious Pepsi into these Justin Jefferson cups, or maybe someone will do it for you. You know, they're great at Buffalo Wild Wings, you know. And there's a QR code on the side here. If you scan it, you can enter to win Victor's Ride, a Polaris 1000 ATV that they will bring right to your house. Victor and his Zubas will just show up and he'll drive that thing right up your driveway if you win. So go get, supplies are limited now, so go get your Justin Jefferson souvenir cups inside your nearest Hy-Vee Fast and Fresh or Buffalo Wild Wings and enjoy the official beverage of the Minnesota Vikings. That would be Pepsi. Also, boys, a shout out to North American Banking Company for powering this Purple Daily episode with our guy Doogs. So North American Banking Company was founded in 1998 right here in the state of Minnesota. They are Minnesota-based now for over 25 years with 6 locations in the Twin Cities. And I can tell you, just getting to know old Bilski and the folks at North American Banking Company, very friendly, knowledgeable people, actual humans that you can have a relationship with that handle your money, and cutting-edge online tools. Those are things that they emphasize, whether it's checking and savings or whether it's something bigger financially like buying a home or setting up a new business, tackling a renovation. Go to nabankco.com/Mackey to learn more. That's nabankco.com/Mackey. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Dukes, I have to ask, because Judd and I kicked this around for, I don't know, a long time on our other Purple Daily episode today. And it feels like kind of a hot button topic, but Sam Darnold's been mostly awesome for the Seattle Seahawks. I know he threw an interception at the end of that shootout, but he's number one in quarterback expected points added. He's number one in yards per attempt. He's like third in passer rating. The Seahawks offense is moving the ball. Do you wake up here in October and live with any Sam Darnold regret on behalf of the Vikings?
I do not. Credit to him. Further proof that KOC quarterback school, especially over the course of a full year, absolutely works. But no, I remain incredibly bullish on JJ McCarthy. Not quite like our guy Thor Nystrom, but I've always been a big JJ McCarthy fan. When Jim Harbaugh speaks the world of JJ McCarthy, that tells me plenty. So I am willing to let this thing play out a bit more. We always want instant gratification. It doesn't work like that with a lot of these young quarterbacks. Let's let this thing play out a bit. And so, hey, happy for Sam. You know, didn't really get to know him all that well last year, but certainly respect him. Enjoyed covering him last year, enjoyed watching him. It's fun watching him now. But no, if you're asking me if there's any regret, no regret on my end.
I can tell you, Dukes, safely, Sam was very happy not to get to know you or me or anyone else. Sam wouldn't tell you what day of the week it was, so it was never going to be
he's been jaded by being in the New York market. So
I'm not blaming him. I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying, don't apologize. He was very pleased that you walked past his locker. How much credit do we give now? And I'm serious question. How much credit in retrospect do we give now to KO's QB rehab school for Daniel Jones? Because he came here at the end of November. They tried to keep him. They would have liked to. I mean, he would have just played 3 games. He obviously made the right decision. But, you know, with Darnold, I think the full effect is no question about it. KO gets full credit. How much credit does he get on the Daniel Jones front, too? Because that's one of the great stories of the season.
Can I, real quick, before Dukes answers, you know what it was like? It's like if instead of enrolling in the class of like a really smart adjunct professor where you get the full course, right? And that'd be great. Like Sam Darnold enrolled in the full course. Daniel Jones like had 2 coffee meetings for like an hour each with the same adjunct professor. You can get a lot in those coffee meetings, right? Hey, so to this point, my viewpoint as a quarterback has been this, this, and this. And in those 2 coffee meetings, the adjunct professor can tell you, no. You got to think about it like this, this, and this. And then, you know, if you want to enroll in the class, it's up to you. But if you do this, this, and this, or think about it this way, I think you can learn a lot in like 2 months with Kevin O'Connell.
Oh, I think so. I think it also points to the dysfunction with the New York Giants. But yeah, I mean, the Vikings came to the conclusion enough that they made Daniel Jones a very aggressive offer. I mean, they made it very well known to Daniel's representation, hey, we want you back. I mean, can we wonder if the Vikings are now 4-1, not 3-2? If Daniel Jones re-signs, if he's the number 2 quarterback, does he lead them to victory in Dublin against the Steelers and against the Browns and against the Bengals? And that we're sitting here talking about a 4-1 team into the bye, not 3-2. But yeah, and I also think the infrastructure there in Indy, like we were wondering because of Anthony Richardson, but Shane Steichen probably gets it for the most part, right? Came through Philadelphia. Having right now, with all due respect to the guy that will be here on the 19th, Saquon Barkley, the best running back in the game, Jonathan Taylor, right? So that certainly can help some things. Plus, they hit on that rookie tight end. The kid from Penn State, oh man, right? Tyler Warren, that dude is a stud. He is so good.
Yeah.
Right? But Daniel Jones has a lot to do with that. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like how you laid it out, Phil, your analogy. I don't know how to quantify because he wasn't here all that long, but the Vikings saw enough to say, we want that guy in 2025. Let's make him like a very nice 8-figure offer, right? And he just decided, hey, now Indy offered him a little bit more, but also he knew he had a fighting chance to play right away, and it worked out brilliantly for Jones. And hey, he knew here it was going to be JJ McCarthy, right? So, good for Daniel, though. It is. It's a fun story, and hey, the KOC stuff works, right? And Josh McCown, too. Like, to me, like, of all the guys on the staff, like, we can point to Brian Flores and say, okay, when all this stuff gets fully settled, that Brian, he's young enough, inevitably he's going to get another head coaching opportunity. But, like, if I had to handicap right now of all the assistant coaches on KOC staff, I would say Josh McCown, that guy is going to be a head coach.
Yeah.
Like, for sure. Like, yeah, okay, I think Flo, but, like, McCown, like, that's coming. Josh McCown is going to be a head coach. So I think it's all encompassing, but certainly KOC has a lot to do with it.
The issue is if the things had played out the exact same, McCarthy gets hurt and Jones takes the starting role, we're having a huge discussion about the fact that Jones probably stays as the starter. That's the thing. Like that's if Darnold stays, if Jones stays, if any of those guys stay and McCarthy is here and JJ had gotten the job to open the season and gets hurt in the Falcons game, I don't think there's a discussion about, JJ McCarthy, and that's where this is a very, very slippery slope. But I am willing to bet on the fact that finding out what McCarthy can do is the right move.
Yeah, and I think they agree. Like, I'm telling you, like, we're going to see McCarthy. Just a matter of when can he fully operate the way he needs to operate, but we are going to see McCarthy again soon enough. How about Jordan Addison? I mean, I'll be frank with you guys. I'm trying to find out more. Like, to me, there's more to the story.
You think?
A lot more to the story. Like, they didn't know where the bleep he was.
Yeah,
right?
let's say,
wasn't answering his, like, and I don't know how you come to the conclusion, okay, let's just sit him for one quarter. Like, I don't know what the right answer was there, so I'm not going to criticize them for that decision. But, and hey, I'm the one who said a few weeks ago it was tracking that they plan on making Jordan Addison a highly compensated wide receiver. You look at these wide receiver contracts, and he's tracking to get one of those. They feel really good about a big-time hit on a first-round pick when draft-wise there hasn't been a whole lot of success stories. They hit on a draft pick, but with another strike against him off the field, yes, it's fair to wonder what the future holds in terms of compensating him at a very high number. Hey, maybe this helps. Who knows? Those contract negotiations that are down the road. But I'm just telling you, like, when they couldn't find where he was, I mean, my God.
It's wild. It is wild.
There's more to that story. Put it that way. I'm convinced there's more to that story.
Yeah, he is super talented. And, Kevin gave him the big bear hug when he came off the field for that touchdown because you got to punish him and then you got to lift him back up. And it's part of the life of being a head coach. But I think if you were to ask Kevin in a neutral moment, how trustworthy is Jordan Addison now and long term. He would say he's like the least trustworthy guy on the team to this point. He's put the team in some. He's been suspended now for 3 games and the first quarter of a season on the line game. Now the Vikings chose to suspend him for that first quarter, but you have to have some accountability structure. So pretty crazy, man.
I mean, just reminded though, like that diving catch he made at the sideline. Like how many receivers make that catch?
Yeah.
Okay,
he's a
one's
stud,
his
man.
teammate, but there's not a lot. Like the talent, the route run, like he is so freaking good.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you have to continue to wonder, okay, yeah, they want to pay him, but like what else is going to happen at this point? What else, right? Like something else is going to happen. Hopefully it's minor, but
no,
there's too much of a track record now.
You trade him.
You're saying you can't pay him, Judd?
You can't pay him. No. Hell no. Are you, God forbid, instant 4 or 5 might not end this well.
Yeah, I'm a Judd. I trade him this spring. I trade him
like
this spring.
he's super talented. But look, anybody else in normal circumstances, he is deactivated for that game.
Yeah. Let's we should do more of this on Thursday because we do have to go, but there's a longer discussion here. I feel like
there
about the future
discussion.
of Jordan Addison.
Find that story, dude. Find the story.
Ty Felton hasn't had a pulse yet. Not that he can't, but hasn't. And Jalen Naylor leaving and the Hawkinson contract for next year is he even here? So I mean, who are the receiver/tight ends that McCarthy is throwing to? Probably McCarthy next year. I don't know if I'm trading Jordan Addison, but I get where you guys are coming from. We can dig more into it on Thursday.
Love it, man. Darren Doogie Wolfson from the 5 Eyewitness News Sports Department. We'll see you in a couple days here, Doogs. Take care, man.
Okay, sounds good, boys. Take it easy. See ya. Love you.
And then, be on the lookout for the State of the Vikings episode 2 of Purple Daily on your feeds. Trenches later tonight with a film breakdown. It's 365 days a year of Vikings takes here, Purple Daily.